Welcome back to another week of Honey from the Word. Today's devotion is Asking for Wisdom from James chapter 1, verses 5 through 8. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally and without reproach, and it will be given to him. Let him ask in faith with no doubting, for he who doubts is like a wave of the sea, driven and tossed by the wind. For let not that man suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. He is a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways. There's so many circumstances of life that baffle and perplex us, arise, and we do not know what to say, what to do, which way to turn, or what to undertake. We know the decision we make is tremendously important, and yet we are not sure what decision we ought to make. For this situation, James says the secret is to turn to God, who will give wisdom freely to all who call on him in faith, not doubting. The Greek word here for wisdom is Sophia. It means the practical use of knowledge. John Blanchard defined it as the ability to discern God's hand in human circumstance and apply heavenly judgment to earthly situations. This was the burden of Paul's prayer for the church at Ephesus. I keep asking, he wrote, that the God of our Lord Jesus Christ, the glorious Father, may give you the spirit of wisdom. Ephesians 1 and 17. It was also his prayer for the Colossians. For this reason, we also, since the day we heard it, do not cease to pray for you and to ask that you may be filled with the knowledge of his will in all wisdom and spiritual understanding. Colossians chapter 1, verse 9. Someone has said that knowledge is the ability to take things apart, while wisdom is the ability to put them together. Wisdom is the right use of knowledge. All of us know people who are educated fools. They have brilliant academic records, but they cannot make the simplest decisions in life. The greatest need of modern man is wisdom. In many ways, our generation is the most prolific of all generations. We have more college graduates from college than ever. Knowledge is exploding. We travel farther and fly higher and faster than any previous generation in history. We accumulate data as never before, but while such knowledge is increasing, wisdom is often lacking. To whom does God give this wisdom? James says that he gives it to those who ask. We do not get this kind of wisdom in school or from practical experience. You see, it's God's gift to us. He gives it generously, but we must ask for it. When we face trials and need wisdom, we are to continue to ask God for it. James was not saying that if we lack wisdom, we should sit down and think about it. No, he didn't say we need to learn more theology or keep our noses in textbooks. He said we should ask. This is why so many Christians lack wisdom. They are too proud simply to ask. When King Solomon was about to take control of the throne, God made an incredible proposition to him. Ask what I will give you. 1 Kings 3 and 5. Remember what Solomon answered? Give to your servant an understanding heart to judge your people, that I may discern between good and evil. For who is able to judge this great people of yours? 1 Kings 3 and verse 9. Solomon asked for wisdom. He could have had anything he wanted, but he asked for wisdom. He chose the best, and God threw in the rest. Here's a scenario. You have a crisis. It creates stress. So what do? Call the doctor and order pills? Make another appointment with the counselor? Go out and buy the best self-help book? Or do you pray? Often we do the best thing last. Of course, there's nothing wrong with going to a doctor, seeking counsel, or reading, but first, we should call upon God and pray for wisdom. The thrust of James's language in verse 5 is that God is just waiting for us to ask. How we ask is important, but let him ask in faith with no doubting, for he who doubts is like a wave of the sea, driven and tossed by the wind. There is a condition attached to God's granting us wisdom. He gives it to those who ask in faith. We must believe and not doubt. The word doubt conveys a sense of being divided against oneself. One incident in the life of Peter is a picture of doubt. He walked on water and then sank. And Jesus said to him, "Why did you doubt?" He was asking, "Why do you think twice?" James likened the man who asked without faith, the one who is blown by the wind and tossed by the waves. Perhaps you've been in the midst of the ocean and experienced its constant rolling. Doubt leaves one unsettled. If we want smoother sailing through life, we must believe that God knows what is best for us, and by faith, ask him for wisdom. The doubting man has no sense or direction in life. Ineffective prayer is due in part to what James referred to as double-mindedness. Double-mindedness means two souls, two thought patterns, with a soul divided between faith and the world. The doubting man has a divided heart. He's trying to serve two masters. It's as though a part of him shouts, "I believe," and the other part cries, "I doubt." A wave crests, then falls. Thus, James pictures the man with his doubts. This up and down motion is like a man who trusts God one moment and trusts the arm of flesh the next. James says that this type of individual is unstable in all he does. In other words, doubt affects every area of his life. So our greatest need is wisdom. Where do we get it? We need to ask. Who gives it? God. How? In response to our faith. How much will he give? Generously. Wisdom does not come from Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, Kierkegaard, or any other philosopher of renown. It comes from God, and we need to ask him for it. Knowledge is the accumulation of facts. Wisdom is the ability to deal with the facts and use them in practical ways. Almost anyone can gain knowledge, but only those who seek God can gain true wisdom. So I encourage you today, we all need wisdom. Ask him, and he will freely give it to you if you ask in faith. May the Lord bless you.